That's why I use Brute. I like the way it smells. I like the way people respond when I'm wearing it.
Brute by Fabergé. After shave, after shower, after anything.
Brute makes things happen.
You know, I haven't been anywhere in the country and for the world, that matter, where I've been made as comfortable by the folks in a given place as I have here in New Mexico, and I think you'll know what I mean. This is the governor, Governor Jerry Apodaca, and this must be quite a day for you, Governor.
It's a good day for us, Win. We're pleased to see it come, and the weather's cooperating very beautifully today.
Racing, a fan?
I have been a fan of racing, never a real adamant one, but always a fan of racing since it, for about 10, 12 years now.
Well, you know, with today being the biggest day in history and taxes being what they are, this industry is going to do some good for New Mexico today.
It's unbelievable. Of course, the race today certainly gives New Mexico the kind of attention that we think we deserve from the standpoint of racing, because we're very proud of the racing industry here in New Mexico. We have an excellent racing commission that establishes the kind of policies that I think are helpful to racing. Certainly the owners of the different racetracks do their utmost to do a respectable job and make racing the kind of industry that's good for New Mexico. But particularly this race, of course, we're very proud of, and it's certainly my pleasure to be here and participate in some small way.
The All-American Network, which has now handled this race for 4 years in a row, Governor, is proud to have been a part of it, too. We want to thank you.
Wayne, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Governor Jerry Apodaca. Now, what do you say we go down in the paddock where Jerry Holly has some owners, and I think Tom Dawson's with him, too, isn't he, Jerry?
He certainly is, Win, and Tom knows this field probably as good as anybody. Tom, probably the most finest balanced field ever for an All-American.
I think so, Jerry. When you have 4 winners of over $100,000 and 2 undefeated horses, I think it would be safe to say this is an excellent field.
Let's take a look at the 9 horses in the All-American.
Well, here's the way they'll line up today in their post-position order. Number 1 in the field is Bobby's Angel. She's a filly by the all-time leading quarter-horse sire Go Man Go out of the stakes-winning mare Band of Angels, and she won the kindergarten futurity at Los Alamitos. Number 2 is Watchin' Native. He was foaled in the state of New Mexico by Sparkling Native out of Miss Barley, and he's won over $45,000 himself. And number 3 was scheduled to be Chick's Deck, of course, the winner of the Kansas Futurity. However, this fine son of 3 chicks and Decada pulled up very badly after his trial for the All-American, and he will not be in the field today. Sorry to lose Chick's Deck out of this point.
He will collect the 10th place money, though, won't he, Tom?
Yes, he will. He will be eligible for the $27,000 last place money. And number 4 this afternoon, Billy Bayou, a colt by Bayou Bar out of Miss Top Play. He's a winner of 5 of 8 lifetime starts. He Flies, an undefeated horse who was a supplement, will be number 5 today. He's a gelded son of Jet On and She Flies. Number 6, Bugs Alive in 75, probably the favorite of many here this afternoon, the winner of the West Texas Futurity. He's by Top Moon out of Ralph's Ladybug. Number 7, the Rainbow Futurity winner, Chick Called Sue, a fine filly by 3 chicks out of Specky Sue Deck. She'll be trying to be the first filly ever to win the Rainbow and the All-American. Number 8, Rocket's Magic. He's also undefeated. He was the fastest qualifier for this race. He's by the 1970 All-American winner, Rocket Wrangler, out of a thoroughbred mare named Magic Spots. Number 9 is the very consistent Mr. Breakthrough, a son of the 69 All-American winner, Easy Jet, out of Deca Moon, and he's already won over $100,000. Rounding out the field today will be the good Go Man Go filly, Go Fantasia, and she qualified for the Kansas Futurity, and it would be no surprise to see her perform well today either.
Well, what a super field, Tom.
I think it's a great one, Jerry, and I think it's anybody's race.
Well, that's a quick look at it. Now back up to you.
All right, Jerry. The folks have heard me say $1,030,000. This is Don Essery, the director of racing for the Quarter Horse Association of America. Don, $1,030,000. How does that amount amassed?
Well, it's a big amount of money, Win. The yearlings, when these colts are yearlings, their owners pay into the All-American Futurity or nominate them, and that's a year in advance. Then they make supplemental payments all along, and until that purse comes up and to that point, then they run the time trials, and these are the last time trials that are run, and last August 22nd on Friday, there were 194 some odd colts still eligible for the race.
So in a sense, the purse is built up by each man having enough confidence to bet on his horse by putting in that nominating money and keeping it going. And the time trials, as you've indicated, on August 22nd, there were how many horses left that could have been in the All-American Futurity?
194.
Now, how do they knock them down?
Well, the time trials are run 10 horses to a race, and by the fastest time. The fastest time can get it. Every time well, every time the race is run, they take the time in 100th of a second, as you know, and then the fastest 40 go in, and the 10 fastest are here today.
Don, while you were explaining that, there was a message on the board that indicated Bronco didn't do well in the qualifying trials. And if Shirley is listening, we're now going to show you why he didn't do well. We're going to show you the definitive trials as they were run the other day, so that we got down to these 9 horses. As I recall, on that day, the track condition was sloppy. Let's go to Bob Dudich as he called the 6th in the trial races.
There they go. On the outside, Chick's Duck is going to the front between horses. It's Wee up along the inside. It's Prince Easy, Odell Bed. Then it's Go Tennessee Go, and Fernie Pride on the outside. Chick's Duck drawing out. Chick's Duck, Wee, and Go Tennessee Go. It's Chick's Duck in the front.
That's right, Chick's Deck it was, but immediately after the finish line, Chick's Deck pulled up hurt. It turned out to be a bad knee. He had to be scratched. We'll be down to 9 in the All-American Futurity, but the first entry, let's see, we had to go to the 9th trial, didn't we, Don?
Yes, Win, that's correct. What's the number 10 horse, Bugs Alive in 75? Right at the break, he breaks out just a bit, but he doesn't cause himself any problems. At this point in the race, he's well in command, and as you can see, as they come onto the main track, just about this area, he really begins to roll on that outside and draws away to win by about 4 lengths in the excellent time of 22 and 0.1 of a second.
On that August 22nd, the track was a little off, and it seemed the inside and outside seemed to be the places to be, Don.
It was a little muddy that day, and what's number 1 here, Rocket's Magic, he's down on the inside where the going was a little deeper. Also watch Go Fantasia, who is out on the rail now. Rocket's Magic is in a commanding lead right now by about a length and just about 16th pole. Go Fantasia begins to close on that just a bit, perhaps because of the heavy track. Qualifying time was 21 and 81/100 of a second.
We got our next qualifier out of the very next trial. Don, that was number 13.
The next qualifier was the number 6 horse, He Flies. He breaks out right here at the start. Hits the number 7 horse fairly hard. At this point, though, he does get it all together, and right now he's on the lead, and he's going to draw away also. Other than the little bump right at the beginning win, it was a very even race. He Flies is going to go away to win by about 4 lengths once again in the excellent time of 22 and 20/100 of a second.
And surprisingly, for a 2-year-old, He Flies is a gelding, the only one in the race.
Yes, that's right. It is unusual.
The next trial to bring out a qualifier was the 15th, Don, and I think this time was a filly.
It's Billy Bayou, number 10. Right here, he's out with a very early lead. All of these trial winners were extremely impressive in winning their trials. Billy Bayou also draws off by himself on the outside there to win by a considerable distance. His qualifying time was 21 and 99/100 of a second.
Don, I love the way you say Billy Bayou, and obviously that is not a filly.
No, not hardly. Here's our next qualifier, Chick Called Sue in the 8. She takes a bad bump right at the beginning, which probably did cost her some distance. She went almost to her knees from that little bump out of the gate, but at this point in the race, she's right on the lead with the rest of the horses, and she's looking stronger as she goes, and she's going to pull off. He's taking her over into the middle of the track where the going perhaps is a little better. Her qualifying time, 21 and 92/100 of a second.
And since she was the rainbow winner too, she is going to be one of the favorites this afternoon.
She certainly is. What's the number 1 horse, Bobby's Angel, who goes out immediately in this trial, and the number 10 horse, Mr. Breakthrough. This is an extremely extremely even race. Mr. Breakthrough at this point just about gets into the rail, and his jockey, Don Tyree, very alertly changes his bat to the right hand and gets him back where he can go at it, and he does just that. His qualifying time, 21:95. Bobby's Angel, the 2nd horse, also qualified.
Boy, they all look so good, it's hard to pick a favorite for the race.
They look too well, really. Watch a Native is the horse in this race, the number 6 horse. There were nothing to look at out of the gate. It was very evenly raced, and he wins it in the time of 22:19.
And so that's how on August 22nd they ran those 20 trials. We come down to the 9 horses with Chick's deck being scratched because of the injury. The 9 horses who you now see wending their way, these 2-year-old quarter horses coming from the backstretch, eventually to the paddock where they will be saddled, and then for the big one. For what it's worth, in order of their time entries, it's Rocket's Magic, Gold Fantasia, and a chick called Sue. As whether they'll finish that way, that's why we're here. From Ruidoso Downs, New Mexico, you're watching the live coverage of the world's richest horse race, the $1 Million All-American Futurity, and we'll be back in a moment.
Oklahoma is oil country. Oil is the lifeblood of this country, and in Oklahoma, steady, dependable wells supply that black gold that helps keep things on the go in America. But even the best machines break down. When they do, the oil flow stops, and it costs money. The longer the flow is stopped, the more it costs. Oil well repair and maintenance require skilled professionals. Nobody knows that job better than the men at Shebester Incorporated. With 24-hour dispatching from 3 locations in Oklahoma, Shebester Incorporated is on the job fast with the right equipment and know-how to get that well pumping again. Shebester Incorporated, complete oil well service, serving central and southern Oklahoma for nearly 30 years. Home office in Maysville.
The most elite quarter horse breeding farm in the nation is Harriet Peckham's Buena Suerte Ranch, 1 hour from Ruidoso Downs. 5 stallions make their home here. The most famous is the legendary Go Man Go, shown with co-owner W.H. Peckham, veteran horseman of Lexington, Kentucky, whose name is synonymous with great sires. Go Man Go, a 3-time world champion and the nation's leading sire, has lived to see his sons and daughters dominate the Tres Coronas. The Buena Suerte maintains one of the most modern medical facilities available to visiting mares, overseen by resident veterinarian Dr. Leonard Block. Harriet Peckham's concept of the ultimate in care of broodmares has made Buena Suerte Ranch the leader in the industry. The quality of mares includes Mrs. Peckham's world's champion mare, Go Together. Champions begin here with bloodlines time-proven. Hasta la vista means till we meet again. Buena Suerte means good luck.
Anybody that owns a quarter horse, of course, the ultimate thrill is to have him good enough and stay sound enough so that he can reach Ruidoso Downs here in New Mexico and be a part of the All-American Futurity with that $330,000 up there in the nose feed, if he can make it. We're looking at the sales barns. These have been very active all week here. There's a couple of ways you can get a horse to get into the All-American. Of course, the most exciting way is to breed him to have your own stock. And if you're lucky enough to do that, that's the special thrill. If you haven't, the only other thing you can do is buy. And that's where the All-American Futurity sales feature comes in, run by the Fortuna Corporation every All-American Futurity week. And as you can see, they get Texas money and Oklahoma cattle and Louisiana fishmen. They get all excited. If you ever come here, just a word of advice. Don't scratch your nose. Don't pick your ear, or vice versa. Just don't do anything but sit there casually with your hands in your pockets unless you mean to buy. There's the, who is that, Don?
That's the auctioneer Bill Tackett.
Bill Tackett. I saw him the other night. And he does that double talk, you know, which means you have now committed the rest of your life to being, because once you buy a horse, you are H-O-O-K-E-D. It is the most exciting of all adventures. When you get a horse here and you see him grow in that 1 year, these yearlings, 1-year-olds, and you bring him to Ruidoso and you're lucky enough to be one of the 194 and get through and come down to the finals, man, that's the ultimate thrill. Don, we're talking about the absolute elite, which I suppose you might say were the 40 horses who remained after the 1,200 were knocked down. Now, we're only going to see 9. What happens to the other 30 or so?
The 40 horses that are eligible from the time trials get to participate in the consolation races. There's a third consolation, a second consolation, and the first consolation. The third consolation has a $32,000 purse. The second consolation has a $66,000 purse. And the Consolation that was run here yesterday, the first Consolation, had a purse of $136,000, which is no small change on its own.
And how? Well, how did the third Consolation turn out then?
The winner of that third Consolation on Friday was Pinball Wizard. Native Creek was second, and Barrera's Lugo was third. The second Consolation, which was run here on Saturday, was won by Delilah Go. Jonathan, a California horse, was second, and Honors Bestowed was third. The first Consolation, the big one of the three, was run yesterday, was won by High Joni Jet. Leela Barnesbug was second, and Speckled Trace was third.
So that means the combined total of the Consolation purse is some $224,000, leaves the $776,000 gross purse that's available for the race upcoming, $330,000 for the winner. Jerry Holly's down there. In a moment, we're going to get to the owners and see how they feel, and we'll be back with that live from New Mexico in just 1 minute.
Built in America to be at home anywhere in the world. Seville by Cadillac. International in size, maneuverable, responsive. With even an electronic fuel-injected engine standard, Seville is smooth riding, quiet, and efficient. In EPA tests, Seville got 21 miles per gallon highway and 15 city. At home anywhere in the world. Seville by Cadillac.
On the outskirts of St. Louis, Missouri, a tradition continues. The proud Clydesdale is being born and bred. A champion Clydesdale, symbolic of the king of beers, and a continuing brewing tradition that can be summed up in one simple word: pride. A very special horse, the Clydesdale. A very special quality, pride. But maybe that's why, when you say Budweiser, you've said it all.
A day can start mighty early for horse people. Pleasure horses or high-priced bloodlines. To get the best from any breed, you know it takes lots of hard work, plenty of training and exercise, and the very best nutrition. That's why professional horse people use Calf Manna. For 40 years, it's been the #1 calf feed in the country, and it's the #1 for horses, too. Calf Manna, fed to 7 of the 10 horses in last year's All-American Futurity, and it's available at more than 10,000 dealers across the country. Just 2 cups a day builds strong bone and muscle, gets foals off to a fast start, gives your mares more milk, and Calf Manna is an outstanding supplement for stallions. If you want to bring out the best in your breed, trust Calf Manna, the choice of livestock and horse professionals from coast to coast. Carnation Albers, the Calf Manna people.
Right now, Jerry Holly is down in Never Never Land, or the land of make-believe, where all the owners are congregated, hoping and praying, and what are they feeling like? Let's go down to Jerry.
I'll tell you one, I think I'm more nervous than these owners are, but Paul Travis is next to me right now from Norman, Oklahoma. He has Go Fantasia, and he's owned at one time 9 All-American finalists. How do you feel today, Paul?
Well, I'm shaking a little bit, but I think we're going to be there.
Okay, how about you, Ms. Travis?
Very anxious, very hopeful, very proud.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Next to me, another Oklahoma owner from Ada, Oklahoma, Dr. Hall and Mrs. Hall, the owners of Mr. Breakthrough. And how about your feelings right at this moment?
I'm really nervous.
You don't look it, you know.
I am nervous, though, and I think this is a great occasion.
It certainly is.
Good to be here.
Okay, how about your feelings right now?
Well, I feel thankful that we've gotten this far, and I think we appreciate that if we win or lose.
Good luck to you now. Thank you so much. Next to me, Betty Shabester, still another Oklahoma owner from Wynnewood, the owners of Bugs Alive in 75. She and her husband, Ralph. And Betty, are you nervous?
I'm very nervous today.
Well, I tell you, you've had some other horses in the All-American. You've not won it yet. Maybe it'll be today.
Third time supposed to be a charm.
Did you check Bugs this morning?
Sure did.
Okay, good luck.
Feeling great.
Good luck to you, Betty.
Thank you.
And Aubrey Stokes, the winner of the Rainbow Futurity with this horse, Chick called Sue. And Aubrey, you have a little good luck thing you do right here in the paddock, don't you?
Yes, I put Frank on the horse every time.
You help your jockey mount, and you think that brings you good luck, huh?
I sure do.
We better turn you loose so you can go over there and put him on.
When he comes in, I'm going to leave.
Okay. Congratulations for being in the All-American, certainly, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay. And here's a gentleman next to me who knows exactly where his horse is going to finish. He's going to finish 10th because Chick's deck was scratched, and I tell you, it's a gallant colt you've got there, Rip.
Well, it was a hard thing to do, but he had run so hard and had done so good for us, and he is in bad shape, and we was just afraid to try it anymore.
Well, Rip Russell from El Paso, Texas. We know the colt will be back to run again, and good luck in the future with him.
Thank you. Thank you.
All righty, let's leave here now and go back up topside. Once again, Win Elliott.
Jerry, we were watching you here. That was just great. The fellow who said he was so nervous is a dentist, so I'm glad he's here. Oh, wait a minute.
May we direct your attention to the area in front of the totalizer board where recording and nightclub entertainer Jody Miller will honor America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Jody Miller and the national anthem, as we are some 20 minutes away from the $330,000 goes to the Magic Horse, one of the 9 in the All-American Futurity here in the land of enchantment, Ruidoso Downs in New Mexico. The weather couldn't be better. It's 75 degrees. The wind is a little capricious blowing up the track. You can hear the excitement. You can feel the excitement as the horses make their way to the paddock, and we'll be right back with all the action right here. This is the All-American Network.
The All-American Network presents the 17th running of the world's richest horse race, the $1 million All-American Futurity. Brought to you live from Ruidoso Downs, New Mexico by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, St. Louis, Missouri. Brewers of Budweiser, Michelob, and Busch. When you say Budweiser, you've said it all. By Carnation Albers, the Calf Manna people. Calf Manna, the concentrated ration for all livestock, brings out the best in horses and puts you in the winner's circle. By Seville, a new expression of Cadillac excellence. And by Brute for Men, by Fabergé.
Yeah, this is it, the $1 million race that you've all heard about, the All-American Futurity for the 2-year-old quarter horses. They're going to ride down here in Miller's Meadow, which is now called Ruidoso Downs, in the land of Enchantment, New Mexico here. 9, the finest 2-year-old quarter horses for the biggest purse you ever heard of, or anybody's ever heard of in racing. Just not long ago, there were 1,200 of them that were going to try for this purse. Jerry Holly down in the paddock, how come we got down to 9? How'd we do it?
Well, for one reason or another, Win, most of those withdrew from the race, but slightly over 200 of them went into the trials about 10 days ago, and the 9 fastest horses are here in the paddock right now.
So it's a matter of the survival of the fittest, and you're going to see those 9 best. Now, on the trial day, back on August 22nd, the track was a little muddy. The time was a little off. Thad Sandstrom down there in the winner's circle. What's the track like today?
Win, the track is in excellent condition today. We have a fast track. We have a bit of a headwind, not too much. It shouldn't make too much difference. Got a few clouds coming up. Might possibly rain, but I don't think that'll make any great difference. And somebody is going to walk away with this great trophy and $330,000 in the All-American Futurity.
And standing beside me is Bob Dudich, who's going to call every inch of the race. And I don't know how he does it facing straight onto them, but he does. And how long is this race, Bob?
The race this afternoon is 440 yards, Win.
And how long is it going to take?
Well, the fastest time trial was Rocket's Magic. It was 21:81 seconds. I think with the caliber of the field we have this afternoon, except for maybe a slight headwind, I think it's going to take 21 and in the 70s, probably 70 to win this particular race.
So that comes down to about $15,000 a second, usually.
Just about, Win.
It's Texas oil, Oklahoma cattle. Today, as you hear the call to the post, it may be a Louisiana fish store owner or a guy who runs a motel may win it. We're going to get to that action in just a moment, right after these next few words.
We got to see how fast they run.
Here we are, Ruidoso Downs, and that's the horses, or these are the few as I'm trying to catch sight of them as they come out onto the track here. The first of them making their appearance before the biggest crowd in New Mexico racing history, number 5. That would be the gelding He Flies. It's quite a story. I hope we can get some time to tell you about him. He was bought by a young man about 30 years old who owned a motel. Didn't know what to do with him, so he called in a friend to bring him up to the racetrack and race him. The friend found out that he had to have papers that indicating he was connected with the horse, so he gave $500 to the hotel manager, and so he got in. So the horse in all cost $1,000, and he won the race. So they didn't know what to do with him because they didn't really have any place to keep him near the motel there, so they gelded him. That means he will never be a sire. Well, on that sad note, well, we'll tell you more about it in a moment. Right now, let's go elsewhere for just 60 seconds.
Built in America to be at home anywhere in the world. Seville by Cadillac. International in size, maneuverable, responsive, with even an electronic fuel-injected engine standard. Seville is smooth riding, quiet, and efficient. In EPA tests, Seville got 21 miles per gallon highway and 15 city. At home anywhere in the world. Seville by Cadillac.
Is that what I think it is, Jack?
Yep, the moment of truth. Hey, when you're after the biggest, toughest black bass around, you do what you think is best. Like everything else, that takes a special quality. Call it pride. The Budweiser people have that kind of pride, too. Hear it talking.
What you use? You wouldn't believe it.
When you say Budweiser, you said it all.
We know what's at stake. We know how it's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen, but here's the what of it, and Bob Dudich with the cast of characters, the post parade.
Ladies and gentlemen, leading the post parade for the All-American Futurity is Walt Garrison, recently retired All-Pro running back for the Dallas Cowboys and currently a standout rodeo star. And here's the field for the 17th running of the All-American Quarter Horse Futurity. Number 1 is Bobby's Angel, owned by Ivan L. Ashman of Idaho Falls, Idaho, trained by Blaine Schravenfeld. The rider, Robert Adair. The qualifying time, 22 and 18 100 seconds. Number 2 is Watch a Native, owned by Sam F. Henderson of Odessa, Texas, trained by Clifton Dean. The rider is Gary Sumter.
the qualifying time 22 and 19 seconds. Number 3, Chick's Deck, has been withdrawn. Scratch number 3, Chick's Deck. Number 4 is Billy Bayou, owned by Virginia Stratton of Fairland, Oklahoma. The trainer is Dennis B. Coldwell, the rider Roy Brooks, the qualifying time 21 and 99 seconds. Number 5 is He Flies, owned by the partnership of L. Kent Slater, Dennis Dreyer, and Troy Vance Jr. of Ogden, Utah. The trainer is Walter F. Merrick, the rider Don Knight. The qualifying time 22 and 20 seconds. Number 6 is Bugs Alive in 75, owned by Ralph W. Shabester of Wynnewood, Oklahoma. Trained by J.B. Montgomery. The rider is Jerry Burgess. The qualifying time 22 and 1 seconds. Number 7 is Chick Call Sue, owned by Aubrey D. Stokes of San Angelo, Texas, trained by Keith D. Sanders. The rider Frank Henning, the qualifying time 21 and 92 seconds. Number 8 is Rockets Magic, owned by Bill J. Thomas of New Iberia, Louisiana, trained by Lloyd J. Romero. The rider is Randy Romero, the qualifying time 21 and 81 seconds. Number 9 is Mr. Breakthrough, owned by Dr. H.D. and Margaret J. Hall of Ada, Oklahoma, trained by Monty T. Brooks, the rider Don Tyre, the qualifying time 21 and 95 seconds. And number 10 is Go Fantasia, owned by Paul H. Travis of Norman, Oklahoma, the trainer H. Don Ferris, the rider Keith S. Musson, the qualifying time 21 and 86 seconds. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the field for the 17th running of the All-American Quarter Horse Futurity, the world's richest horse race.
Okay, Bob, and a look at the mutual board now. Let's see what the public thinks is going to happen in this race. They have made the favorite as I look over my shoulder. Number 8, the fastest qualifier in the trials, that would be Rockets Magic. We have Tommy Dawson, the racing secretary of Rio Doso down. How smart do you think the public's being?
Well, when you take a horse that's never been beaten, Win, I'd say it's probably a pretty good choice. I'm a little bit surprised that Bugs Alive isn't the favorite at this point, though.
Well, he is second choice along, I think, with the next horse, Chick Called Sue. Bugs Alive is number 6. Number 7 is Chick Called Sue. There's Rockets Magic. As you've indicated, he hasn't lost a race.
He's never been beaten. He hasn't been up against this kind of opposition yet in his career, so I think this will be a real test for him today.
Peculiar, too. The trainer and the jockey have a relationship. It's father and son. I've never seen that in a big race
That's
before.
pretty unusual.
Well, you seem to like Bugs Alive. How about Bugs Alive, which on the board is number 6 and second choice?
I think he probably has the best overall record when he's the leading money winner in the field, having made over $180,000. He's only been beaten 3 times, and he's been right there every time in his career. Been beaten twice when he had considerable difficulties away from the gate. And I think if he was to get a good start today, I think he would really make his presence felt.
So Rockets Magic has shown sheer ability, but we don't know about how she'll react to intense competition. On the other hand, you think this horse has shown it in both directions. What do you got to say about number 7, Chick Called Sue, the co-second favorite?
Well, she said it all when she won the Rainbow, because she hooked Bugs Alive, and neither one of them had any trouble, and she just outfinished him to win the race. I think if everything went as well for her today as it did in the Rainbow, we could see a repeater.
Romance may come into the the next choice by the public. Number 5, you see at 7-1, He Flies. There'll be no romance in He Flies' life because, as I told you, he had been gelded in that mishap of understanding by his motel owner operators. Anyway, a fellow who lived in Idaho by the name of Vance heard about this horse. He called these fellas and he said, "Can I lease this horse and we'll go 50-50 ownership and expenses?" And they said, "Sure, go ahead." And that's why he's here. He's broken 3 track records in a row, but again, Tom, as you've intimated, he hasn't come up against the class. But the sensational thing about this horse, the man who had the winning horse last year, a guy who has a ranch, I think, that is spelled Oklahoma. He has more cattle than there is gravel on this roof. Walter Merrick is training this horse. I've never heard of that before in horse racing.
One thing about it, when they looked for a trainer, they picked a winner, didn't they?
So that may be the magic. Speaking of magic, I see Thad has a fella down there in the winner's circle we'd like. Thad, are you there?
I'm here, Win, and I have with me the president of the American Quarter Horse Association, headquartered in Amarillo. He's Clarence Scarborough Jr. from Midland, Texas. What a great day for the quarter horse industry, Clarence.
Couldn't be better.
Well, what's this big race mean to the Quarter Horse Association?
Thad, this is probably the #1 event that we have, although we do have the youth activities, the World's Championship show, but this All-American is probably the most tremendous thing that's meant more to the quarter horses than anything in a long time.
It's the Cadillac of the quarter horse industry, right?
I agree, yes, sir.
You're right. Thank you very much, Clarence. It's going to be a great race. The dignitaries already gathering here in the winner's circle, and soon it'll be pandemonium, Win.
Okay, and I know that the president was a little hesitant or maybe a little modest to say so, but there are more quarter horses registered than all other breeds combined. So when you get down to the best 9, man, you've got quality. Now, Don Ursery, who's the director of racing for the Quarter Horse Association, is with me. That's the trophy they're going to win. Don, about these qualifying trials that we've talked about on Friday.
The trials, of course, are the race itself actually win because the qualifiers earn the right to be here. And if they don't make it in the trials, well, naturally they fall by the wayside.
I was going to say, as an indication as to exactly how the trials were conducted, why don't we go to the 12th trial of the day? There were 20 in all, basically because this was the fastest time with the favorite of the race, and Bob Dudich did the call.
There they go. Up along the inside, Rocket's Magic is going to the front. On the extreme outside, it's Go Fantasia. Between horses, it's Lady Afton Bug. Along the inside, Hey Little Chick and Double Fun. On the outside, Go Fantasia. On the inside, Rocket's Magic. It's a driving finish. It's Rocket's Magic in front.
Okay, and the public here seems to have been impressed by that win by the comparatively untested colt from Louisiana owned by, you know, we've been talking about Texas oil and California cattle, but the guy that owns this horse, and I don't mean to deprecate him by saying guy, but I've talked to him, he runs a fish store in New Iberia. And he says his favorite, the thing he sells most of is catfish. Well, he's going to come up with a lot of tuna if he wins this race. Tom, you've had something to say about Rocket's Magic to the degree that you're not sure the quality of the competition. Don, how do you feel about her?
Well, that's true, Win. You never know about the competition until you hook it, but we'll find out.
And we'll find that out as we continue live from Ruidoso Downs in, 60 seconds?
A day can start mighty early for horse people. Pleasure horses or high-priced bloodlines. To get the best from any breed, you know it takes lots of hard work, plenty of training and exercise, and the very best nutrition. That's why professional horse people use Calf Manna. For 40 years, it's been the #1 calf feed in the country, and it's the #1 for horses, too. Calf Manna, fed to 7 of the 10 horses in last year's All-American Futurity, and it's available at more than 10,000 dealers across the country. Just 2 cups a day builds strong bone and muscle, gets foals off to a fast start, gives your mares more milk, and Calf Manna is an outstanding supplement for stallions. If you want to bring out the best in your breed, trust Calf Manna, the choice of livestock and horse professionals from coast to coast. Carnation Albers, the Calf Manna people.
Here's my latest poem. Champion of the world, that's what I am. I mean of the whole wide world, from here to Siam. And I wish to point out that Brute is the same. Wherever I go, people know that name. The great smell of Brute is best like me. We're champs of the world, Brute and Ali.
Brute by Fabergé. After shave, after shower, after anything.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, the great smell of Brute and the punch of Ali.
How about that? And right here at Ruidoso, New Mexico, some horses getting closer to $300,000 or so, and that means getting closer to Jerry Holly, who's right down there at the starting gate. Jerry, it's yours.
Well, you can see the horses moving right up behind me now, and we'll go behind the gate here in just a few moments. And when they get behind that gate, Dean Turpin, probably one of the finest starters in America, and his gate crew will take care to put them in and get this race off into good shape. And a young man with me right now who knows all about riding in the All-American is Jerry Nicodemus. And Jerry is the only 2-time winner of the All-American. And Jerry, as you come behind the gate here, what are you thinking about?
Well, Jerry, the main thing is to pay a lot of attention to your horse and try to keep him cool as you can. They're really hot back here, and you want to keep him quiet in that gate where you can get a good hard break out of there.
Now, the trainers normally bring these horses up. Most of the pony boys here are trainers, and they put them in the gate. Then it's up to you, the jockey. What can you do in the gate?
Well, you just try to keep his feet square under him, and you depend a lot on the head man. He has a lot to do with it, and you try to just keep him square in there.
Do you yell?
Yeah.
The gate open?
Right. You got to get their attention much as you can.
Jerry, thank you very much. The number 1 horse is in the gate. Number 2 is going in, followed by the number 4 horse, Billy Bayou. Number 5, He Flies, now approaching the gate. The number 6 horse, Bugs Alive in 75, now being led into the gate. And now the number 7 horse will make his way in. That's Chick Call Sue, and when we're just about ready for the $1 million All-American Futurity.
Okay, Jerry, that's Chick Call Sue that went in 7. Number 8 is Rocket Magic. She's the one, or he's the one that the folks here think is going to do it. He had the fastest qualifying trial. Mr. Breakthrough, named for a religious paper. Maybe he'll come in on high. There's Go Fantasia, the outside filly who
flag is up.
That the flag is up means they're all in and they're ready. The starter, when he presses the button, it breaks an electric current. The magnets take over and they spring the gates open. And then 440 yards thereafter, $330,000. The favorite is number 8. Let's see if they all break. Number 6, who has that fantastic record, that's the Bugs Alive. He's got to have solid ground. He digs so hard as he bursts out. He breaks the ground and he may lurch into the horse beside him, but his trainer says the last couple of times he's been all right. They're having a little trouble here. These horses are real hot, as you know. They don't know there's $330,000 up there, but they know, they can sense that the competition is the kind that they may have never met before. This is 9 of them. Number 3, Chick's Deck, unfortunately hurt his knee after he qualified. He's not in the race. They're hollering there. The trainers are behind holding the tails because the horses are...
There they go. Bugs Alive in 75 is going to the front. Up along the extreme outside is Go Fantasia. Between horses, He Flies. Here comes up Billy Bayou. Up along the rail, it's Bobby's Angel. Then it's Rocket's Magic. Bugs Alive in 75 has the lead. It's Bugs Alive in 75. Chick Call Sue and Rocket's Magic. It's Bugs Alive in 75 in front. And Bugs Alive in 75 did win it all the way. And it was number 7, Chick Call Sue, 2nd, and number 8, Rocket's Magic was 3rd. Back to you now, Win.
Oh, boy, Bob. What a race. Can you hear the screaming in the background? Man, they are just going wild here. As number 6, Bugs Alive in 75 with Jerry Burgess. That's the Chevester horse. These folks have a home here in Ruidoso. They're just so gracious. Even we outsiders from Connecticut have spent time with them. You met them earlier before, Jerry and Betty. This is unofficial, of course. On the board, it says Bugs Alive, Chick Call Sue, Rocket's Magic. That, however, is unofficial. For the official results and all the excitement to come, we'll be back in just 1 minute here at Ruidoso Downs.
Built in America to be at home anywhere in the world. Seville by Cadillac. International in size, maneuverable, responsive, with even an electronic fuel-injected engine standard. Seville is smooth riding, quiet, and efficient. In EPA tests, Seville got 21 miles per gallon highway and 15 city. At home anywhere in the world. Seville by Cadillac.
On the outskirts of St. Louis, Missouri, a tradition continues. The proud Clydesdale is being born and bred. A champion Clydesdale, symbolic of the king of beers, and a continuing brewing tradition that can be summed up in one simple word: pride. A very special horse, the Clydesdale. A very special quality, pride. But maybe that's why, when you say Budweiser, you've said it all.
You know, Radio Shack's tremendous factory direct purchase means you can get this famous Archer TV antenna at the super low price of only $19.88 at Radio Shack stores nationwide. Worn out antenna, new set, or just looking for better TV and FM reception? Well, here's the answer at a price you can easily afford. Radio Shack has all the accessories for easy do-it-yourself installation. The Archer Super Color Special Antenna, and there's only one place you can find it. Radio Shack.
Ralph and Betty Shabesters, Bugs Alive in 75, now more than $500,000 a winner. It's a 2-year quarter-old colt. Remember, the race is not official as yet, but as Bob Dudich called it, he broke out of the gate, had command, and won it going away, at least or so it seemed to us. Bugs Alive, who's had problems getting started out of the gate because he has such a propellant thrust, he has been breaking the ground and lurching into his opposition, and thereby making it difficult for him to get going. But the track has tightened up. There's been a little rain here in New Mexico. It's harder. It helped him. He didn't lurch, or so it seemed to us. Don Essery is standing by, and in a moment or two we will have the slow motion, and we'll be able to show you whether he did or not. But Bugs Alive really came out screaming out of that gate, and he went. All right, Don, what do you see?
It was a real evenly run race, Win. Number 7, Chick Called Sue, stumbled quite badly. It looked just like the trial races. She stumbled and came out just a bit at the break. But Bugs Alive, today, he didn't have any problem at the gate. He broke away real clean, went right to the lead, and I don't believe there was any doubt from the very beginning. It didn't look like it anyway. Right here, he's way out by himself. He's getting stronger as he goes. Just down on the rail, He Flies is making a pretty good run. Chick Called Sue drifts down across the track a little bit, and Bugs Alive comes out right at the wire just a little bit to maybe to get that better track out there, they think. But he wins it by just about 2. It was a real well-run race.
That is Betty Shabester. You see there, she's so excited. She just gave her horse a big bus on the nose. Incidentally, I think I call Ralph something else. Ralph Shabester, who is the Oklahoma oil well there. Betty's getting it in turn. Ralph had a nasty automobile accident back home the other day, and his ribs haven't been in the greatest shape. But somehow there is Jerry Burgess, the trainer, leading the jockey, rather, as he comes into way out. I'm sure he's a little on the speechless side. And this is the usual pandemonium you see around a winner's circle. Now let's go down and hear the noise and get all the effect of it. Thad Sandstrom, it's yours.
By golly, it's pandemonium here in the winner's circle, and we have the governor of New Mexico, Jerry Apodaca, the senator, the congressman, the people from the Quarter Horse Association, and the lady who owns the winner, Betty Shabester. And to do the honors, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to introduce the president of Fortuna Corporation and Ruidoso Downs for the winner's circle ceremony. Here is Mr. Al Rosa.
Thank you. Well, it was a terribly exciting race, and I first want to congratulate the owner, Mr. and Mrs. Ralph Shabester. Ralph will be here in a minute. And on behalf of Fortuna Corporation, it is indeed our pleasure to present to Betty and Ralph. Rosemary.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just a little bit of confusion here. Ralph was in a very serious auto accident on July the 2nd, and he had to make his way slowly over to the winner's circle. He had 13 broken ribs, but I bet he doesn't feel him a bet here today. I'm going to go over and speak to him in a moment here, but I want, first of all, Governor Apodaca to say just a word. Governor?
Over here. I'd like to take this opportunity to compliment the owners of this fine horse. It was a beautiful race. The people that were in attendance, I'm sure, enjoyed this afternoon. We all want to congratulate you. I think it's a real tribute to racing, but more important, it's a real tribute to the people of New Mexico. Well, thank you very much for being with us this afternoon.
And here's the president of the American Quarter Horse Association, Clarence Scarborough. Clarence, will you say just a word, please?
On behalf of the American Quarter Horse Association, it is indeed a privilege and pleasure to be here and join in this presentation. And Mr. and Ms. Shabester, I want to wish you the best of luck from now on with a good horse.
Thank you.
Fine.
All right, mass confusion in the winner's circle. We'll be right back with our jockey interview and the owner interview right after this word from our host for today's All-American Futurity telecast.
Calling the signals, throwing the football. That's only half of being a quarterback. The other half is confidence. Now you have 10 guys looking for you to call the right play. If they don't believe you're 100% sure of yourself, they can't make things happen for you. And it's the same off the field. That's why I use Brute. I like the way it smells. I like the way people respond when I'm wearing it.
Brut by Fabergé. After shave, after shower, after anything.
Brut makes things happen.
You know, Radio Shack's tremendous factory direct purchase means you can get this famous Archer TV antenna at the super low price of only $19.88 at Radio Shack stores nationwide. Worn out antenna, new set, or just looking for better TV and FM reception? Well, here's the answer at a price you can easily afford. Radio Shack has all the accessories for easy do-it-yourself installation. The Archer Super Color Special Antenna, and there's only one place you can find it. Radio Shack.
Ralph Shabester, congratulations on Bugs Alive in 75.
Thank you, Thad. Thank you.
I know how much it means to you.
It means an awful lot.
Betty?
Yes, sir. I'm so proud. I am
You
just
bet.
outwitted here.
Jerry Holly, real quickly with Jerry Burgess.
I have a happy young man over here, Jerry Burgess. He's ridden in this All-American about 7 times, and he's won it. And, Jerry, you've won $33,000 here. Here you come out of the gate. What did it look like?
I had a real good break. I had a lot of confidence at that time.
And then what happened?
I started widening on them, and my heart and the horse's heart got bigger all at the same time.
You started working together, right?
And about this time, I thought, they'll never catch me. I'm home free.
You knew right here that you had it won, right?
Yes, because I was already daylight in front, and...
Dream of a lifetime for you, Jerry?
Dream of a lifetime.
Okay, congratulations, Jerry Burgess. Now let's go back upstairs to Win Elliott.
There isn't any time left to say anything, but that's the picture. There's the horse that did it all. Bugs Alive in 75, the big guy with the big cowboy hat, the trainer J.B. Montgomery, Jerry Burgess, Ralph Shabester and his wife for Thad Sandstrom, for Jerry Holly, Don Essery, Tom Dawson, I'm Win Elliott. And we've had a wonderful weekend. It's been a great race. This All-American Futurity, $330,000. And as you see, the others didn't come and run in vain either. Great afternoon. Glad you were able to be with us here in New Mexico at Rio Doso Downs.
The 17th running of the world's richest horse race, the $1 Million All-American Futurity, has been brought to you live from Ruidoso Downs, New Mexico by Seville, a new expression of Cadillac excellence. By Brut for Men by Fabergé. By Carnation Albers, the Calf Manna people. Calf Manna, the concentrated ration for all livestock, brings out the best in horses and puts you in the winner's circle. And by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, St. Louis, Missouri. Brewers of Budweiser, Michelob, and Busch. When you say Budweiser, you've said it all. This has been a presentation of the All-American Network.